Faye. I think you had her
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
absolutely. Yep.
Uh, let's see. So she likes supervised study because I like overschedule her after school. So she crams all of her homework in that time.
Okay.
She tries to do. So, but I really like the idea of the club thing. So I'm noticing something really weird with her this year. She's, over the summer, she did the Acma dance camp, and now she's like only making friends with high schoolers. And I
Oh,
think it's because and she's in seventh grade. And so like she meets people on the bus and she met people at dance camp and so she's like, and during lunches, even she's just hanging out with high schoolers. And I'm like, Isabel, you've got to meet like middle schoolers because these high schoolers are going to take off pretty soon. And then you won't have friends. So I don't know if it's because she's not meeting people, other tag people, or I don't know, but I like the idea of more opportunities for her to meet kids, more kids like her, I guess. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I think that's something I could stand behind for sure. If we could get that to work in the schedule, I think that would be wonderful. It sounds like it's needed. Um, let's see. Oh, Jen says you've got the sense that Access was more for high school students that have larger projects to work on, and that the middle schoolers just have to endure it. Yeah, it's just it's like a mini supervised study. We used to not have supervised study, so this was the only time that students had to do work and maybe meet with a partner and work on a project or get help from a teacher. But now it seems a little excessive because they already have supervised study. But it does allow them to meet with a teacher. That is one thing that's different about it. So especially like in math, if they needed something, some help with a math from a math teacher. Okay, Susie?
Oh, did I not unraise my hand? Let me see
Oh,
if I
yeah,
can figure out how to
okay.
do that.
All right, Megan?
Hi, my child is Charlie Simpkin, and I think they're in your class right
Yes,
now.
yes.
I had a couple of things that I wanted to just express. One was that I also grew up in a school where they had like a tag special class kind of thing. And at risk of sounding like really weird and like granola, like I'm thinking like if it could not be called like the tag group,
Oh, yeah.
like I would be so happy if it wasn't called like the tag group. If it was called something else, like creatively named, that would make my heart so happy. Because I think there's just so much stigma already in like junior high and high school, and just allowing kids to be kids and letting them have a group that's called something else that identifies like philosophical time, or whatever it is that they're doing, that like identifies what they're doing instead of like this thing that. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at.
I totally
Okay,
understand.
I'll stop explaining myself.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I loved your idea of the giving your students extra things for them to do in supervised study. The other thing that I had thought of before you said that, and it might not even be relevant because that was a better idea than what I thought of, but what I was thinking was if the tag students, like if there were a couple of times that supervised study was held, that these kids were like clustered together, and so that they could have that discussion time be during their supervised study. Maybe somebody already said that. I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. But does that make sense? So that that would be a naturally built-in time that they could dialogue. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
that was my other thought.
No, that's a great idea. I know that they're already assigned 2 classes, supervised study classes, but I didn't know this. There's a mix. There's like high schoolers and middle schoolers in there, which I thought was interesting, because everybody's just doing their work. So I think they just put them wherever, but I wonder if it would be difficult to, I can't imagine it would be too hard to see if we could move some kids around so that maybe we have like our tag middle school kids together in a supervised study and our high school tag students together in a supervised study. And then within that supervised study, they could have some time to do something different or something, you know, extra that they want to do. And you know, on top of that, I'm running OBOB, and I know that that's, you know, for some kids, they're like, meh, I did that in elementary school, you know, but it is popular with some of the tag kids. So that's coming up in October. So that will be something I'll be running that during lunch on Thursdays. So that's something that you can talk to your student about. Okay, Melissa?
Hi, thanks.
Hey.
My daughter is Maddie. She's also in your English class.
Great.
I'm just asking about a math question. She's a 6th grader and was in Flex Online school last year and has been scheduled into Math 7-8 this year without any sort of a placement test. And I did reach out to the teacher and ask, you know, if this was the correct placement. And he said that she was placed there because of her tag designation. But I'm wondering, and he said if it did prove to be too challenging or not at her level, that we'd move her at semester. But I really wouldn't want her to be so far behind or so discouraged by semester that she was just, you know, unable to come back from that and then miss, you know, any sort of a base she needs, because I can't really tell how math correlated between, you know, Florida Virtual and what was taught at Barnes Elementary, because I don't think that it was anywhere near the same.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, is there a opportunity maybe to give her that placement test that any other tag student may have had prior to coming into the 6th grade or 6th grade that she could do before we got too far down the road?
Okay, I can ask Mr. Thompson. Was it Mr. Thompson you talked to?
Yeah, and I'm happy with him. He said he would help her if she didn't get anything, but he also said if it was too hard that she would have to be moved at semester. And I thought, I really wouldn't want to have to wait an entire semester.
No, I get it. Yeah, and math builds on those skills too. So
Exactly.
you wanna make sure she gets the base skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can certainly ask, and I know that happened too. I had another student who was in Flex last year, and he took, you know, I said, could you take a look at her scores? And he said, based on the scores, her you know, testing scores, he said, put her in 7-8 for sure. But
Okay.
but if you're
So
feeling
what test? What test did
no,
take?
it was, I think he looked at it, it was the test that they were given as a tag, I think the tag identifying test.
I think Maddie took that in like 3rd
a
grade.
long time ago. Mhm.
Yeah.
So those, yeah, so maybe things have changed. Let me ask him if we can just give that test. I'm sure he would be fine with it.
Okay.
Can I ask, or can I say something about that?
Sure.
So at the end of last year, I requested, so there's this thing online called Alex, which is
Yeah.
spelled ALEKS. And it does this thing where it tests you and it like fills out this pie of all the things you're supposed to know for all of the different math classes. And I had done that previously to prep Isabel for this placement test thing. And then over the summer, I had her doing it to like prep her for the next math class. And so it's kind of neat because it evaluates all the little parts you're supposed to know for the certain levels. And it costs, I don't know, I think it costs like $20 a month if you're paying for it yourself. But because the district pays for it for Flex, I believe, you can actually request so that they add you to it on Canvas, and then you can access it through the district for free. But it takes like a couple of little steps where you have to request access to it.
Do you know who to reach out to
I
request?
think it was Thompson was the person
Okay.
that I asked about it.
Okay.
And he asked around and got Isabel into it.
And I know
on
that she
Canvas.
can, you know, catch up. I know that she would be able to do it, but I wouldn't want her to be so frustrated, because the first day was, he said that he gave them a worksheet and said this should be review for everyone. And she said she had no idea what they were. He just did a quick lesson and she was able to grasp the concept, but I wouldn't want her to just end up so frustrated because and afraid to ask questions because everybody in the class, she would feel like she was not in the right spot.
Right.
If she's got extra time now and she wants to do the Alex thing to prep for it, then
Yeah.
maybe she could stay in the class and just fill in any gaps she might have.
That'd be
to
a great
get-
idea.
so
I
that
should
she could
actually
stay
ask
in the
Thompson
class.
about that maybe.
Do you want to do
Yeah.
that instead
Yeah.
of reaching out to Mr. Thompson? Because I can do that too, or help you. with
Okay, I think that'd be great. I think if we had that opportunity, then she could have something to do in supervised study.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it's Alex. Is it ALEX or is it something different?
ALEKS.
Okay, ALEKS. Okay. And so you can just reach out to Mr. Thompson and ask if you can get added to that.
Great, perfect, thank you.
Cool. All right. Okay, any other questions about that? Okay. All right. All right, so let me go ahead and show you what a sample tag plan might look like so that you can look for one on your students' teachers' Canvas page. And before I forget though, there are some opportunities for those of students who are tag identified in reading and writing. There's the Oregon, we usually send 2 students to the Oregon Writing Festival in May. And then we also hold 2 spelling bees. There's the district spelling bee and the script spelling bee, and those are in the spring. So that's something I would encourage your students to take part in too. So, okay, great. Okay, so let me screen share and
Can I ask a quick question before you move on?
you bet.
Okay, my son's William. I think he's in your class currently, William
Yeah.
Leonard.
Okay.
I just want to confirm, if you did move students around to be together in supervised study, would that be a choice for the student? Like if he doesn't want to change,
Mhm.
he likes supervised study because he likes to do his work. And so then then he can just play piano forever that way.
Mhm.
But I just want to make sure that that's an option and not like, now you're all in tags. We're going to put you all together. We're going to cluster you in this room. I don't necessarily want that for, so you know what I mean? Would that be something you reach out to parents so we can say yay or nay?
Absolutely. Yeah. And ACMA is always about choice. So, I can't imagine Mrs. Ferguson saying, okay, I'm going to move everyone. It would-
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, and I'll definitely write down and make sure that when I broach this idea with her, I'll say, can we make this something optional, because supervised study is not held the same, like Access is always on Thursdays at a certain set time. So everyone in the school is in Access at the same time. Supervised study, it's not that way. So it might be that, tag students are, have a supervised study 3rd period, someone else might have it 4th period. And so to try to get them all together in one would be a nightmare because it would everyone's schedules would get blown up. And I know the office will not do that. They can't do that. I think at this stage, they won't move everyone around like that. But what we could do is say, okay, looks like we've got some middle schoolers over here, 4th period in supervised study, and some over here. I wonder if we could get them together in a room and have them do some sort of an extension if they want. But it would have to work out schedule wise that they shared the same supervised study period. So it's something I definitely want to explore because I'm hearing that there's a need for this. So is it Joanna?
Yes, hi. Gloria is my daughter. She's in 7th grade. She's in softball.
Okay.
And I was just going to say, I've got 2 other daughters at ACMA also. And I think, the supervised study, I do like it too, because it gives them an opportunity to get a lot of their homework done so they can come home and do after school activities. And I would think it would, like you were saying, kind of be a little bit of a scheduling nightmare trying to make, not call it a tag club, but some sort of get together group during supervised study, because it is really just kind of the plug that makes the whole scheduling system work and get the kids in the electives they want. But maybe more, like you were saying, maybe a lunchtime club or even a club during Access if a teacher is willing to. But that would be hard if a teacher does need to help other kids
Right.
in their main course with something. But maybe there's an opportunity to do that during Access or lunch. But I would think supervised study would be a little difficult. Or like you were suggesting, just you could assign optional homework because maybe not everybody wants the additional work on top of their regular stuff. But if they do want that challenge, if teachers had some optional things that tags students could do during supervised study,
Okay.
that might work
Yeah.
out better.
I think maybe I'm hearing about this. It's feeling new to me because we haven't had this enormous amount of time supervised study before. We've never done this before. It's been, I guess, a few years, but in all my years at ACMA, I haven't really felt like students were like, I don't have enough to do. You know, it was usually the opposite. So, and I can imagine that the tag students might be the ones kind of chomping at the bit and wanting more work. So this is making more sense to me now. It sounds like, yeah. Okay, thank you for that. That's good input. Okay. All right. Okay, why don't I go ahead and show the, I want to see the chat if there's something missing here. Let's see. Hearing all the optional or different time is better than mandatory. Yeah, no mandatory supervised study. I'm hearing that loud and clear. No mandatory clustering. Like mandatory fun. Yeah, that doesn't really work out, does it? Okay. All right. Okay, good. So let's see, screen share. Okay. So, okay. Oh, this is my old one. Hold, pardon me here. I'm going to just take you to my Canvas page so you can see that. That might be a little easier to navigate. Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so here is my language arts Canvas page. And I asked the teachers if they'd please put something on their homepage that told parents where to find their tag plans. I'm not sure if everyone did, but mine are under modules. That's usually where you'll find them, or you might find them in their syllabus. So if you just click on a module for my class, I have the tag plan, and this is what is standard for all the teachers. Middle school is a little bit different than high school, but not much. They all pretty much look like this. And why isn't mine filling in? Oh, there it is. Okay. So if you look down, okay, so this first step is the pre-assessment. That's to see what level the students are. And what I think what this means is that if you're feeling like there might be a student that is tag, but you're not sure, like these are sort of some of the strategies that you would use to decide if they are. And one of them is assessment data. So that's from the state testing that they do in the spring. And so that's always on the tag plan, because that's like the first step of identifying. And then for me in my class, it's reading conferences. So when I'm meeting with students about once a month or so, talking about the books they're reading and hearing what they have to say, I can determine if they're, a tag, if they seem tag eligible. And then on-demand writing samples, where I'll have them write an essay just without any warning. Oh, Joanna, go ahead.
Sorry, I think I need to learn how to put my hand down here. I'll do that.
Oh, okay. It just popped up on the screen. That's why I asked. Okay. All right. Down here, these are all the different ways that we can differentiate. And on the next page, it shows you what all of these mean. But I just click how I differentiate in my class. That's what these little boxes are. And then after that is just what am I using to assess students? And for me, it's usually essays and reports. And reports are usually when I do a book report, either on a book that they're reading for choice, or one we're reading as a whole class or as a small group. I give a lot of options as far as how they want to express their learning. And, it could be something like a video or a movie trailer, or writing an alternative ending, or writing an essay about the theme. It's sort of, I leave it open for their, what makes sense to them and where their skills lie. We also do formal, essays too and reports, but I kind of wanted to explain that reports part a little bit too. But this is not, these forms are sort of, I think, the way I look at them is that they offer some information for parents about differentiation and how the teachers are going to differentiate. But what I think is more helpful is the sample lesson that you might see on a teacher's, what they might assign to a student if the student either asks for it or they're just going to go ahead and assign it to a tag student. So I'm going all the way back to the beginning again. Sorry about that. Let me go back here. Modules. Tag sample plan. All right. Okay, so this is a tag sample or a plan that it's actually a unit that I teach on character and theme, but I did have an extension in here. So right here. So this is a unit that I teach where I think this is, oh yeah, this is a choice book. So this is where everyone's reading a different book. And then we talk about the relationship between the character and the theme. So how does the author develop this character and how does that character contribute to the theme? And it's pretty deep. It's a nice unit. And then also for tag, what I'm saying is they're obviously probably picking a more challenging book because this is 100% choice as far as what book they want to read for this project. It just has to be, I think this one was, I think it was just a realistic fiction they had to pick. And then on top of that, they just would make deeper and more, acute comparisons of the worlds. And then also if here's a tag grouping, so like I would have them together sharing their projects, the tag students. So, they could ask a little deeper questions of each other. So I try to get tag kids working together especially in reading when we do book clubs. And I know I talked about that already, but that's a really natural place, I think, for tag kids to get together is when they read a more difficult book than the rest of the class. It's just because their discussions, I think, are deeper and more enjoyable for them anyway. So that's an example. So that's something you might see. And I've been looking at all the teachers' tag plans and their sample lessons, and they either have a unit like I do and then say what they're going to do for tag, or the whole lesson that they submit is for tag students specifically. So, okay. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Oh, I was just reading some of the chats there that some folks are feeling that their kids are pretty bored in the supervised study. So it just sounds like to me that they're just needing, some of the tag students are needing some extra work. So I think it would be helpful. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I don't want, because I am also hearing the message that some students are feeling like, they use the supervised study fine. They're not feeling like it's too much free time. And I don't want to take it away from those kids. But I am hearing that some students want some extra challenge. So would it be correct to say that if your student is feeling like they want some more challenge, if they're not coming to me to ask, they're telling you, could either you or your student let me or whatever other teacher they have know that that's what they want? Because every teacher would love to give an extension, some sort of a fun project, or something that the student wants to research. I can just thinking science, how fun it would be to pick some topic that they want to go deep, and study more about and do some sort of a report. How about let's see. Yeah, I know. I think supervised study is just a bummer. It's not something, but I know it's a lot of high schools too. High schools have to do it. It is like a placeholder. It's just something we have to do to have the schedule that we have. Steph, do you have a question?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, yeah. My son is Jack Flesseris and he's in 6th grade, so brand new.
Okay.
Can I just say maybe we'll wait and see? It's the first week of school. I don't know how he's going to do. He doesn't know how much homework he's going to get. He might love supervised study because the dude does not like doing homework at home. He's pretty excited about that. I don't know if their homework levels go up. I mean, we're so new. So maybe we could check in with you like after the holiday, the winter break. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's true anytime. I mean, anytime is, yeah, I think that makes total sense
Okay.
because it is new. And I know I'm starting off slow, and we were sort of told to start off slow because kids are getting back into the swing of things. COVID, of course, and also
Yeah.
just beginning of the year, you know, and then also a 6th grader is really getting back into the swing of things. So starting off where they feel some success, you know, and then it gets a little bit more intense, I think, as we go along. Okay, let's see, Susie?
I was wondering, so Isabel's dad was kind of alarmed that she picked ACMA over SUMA, and he's worried about the effect it will have on her like college stuff, like ACT scores and SAT scores and stuff way down the road. Is there anything that I can say to reassure him, or is there anything that she should be doing now to help like make sure she gets good SAT and ACT scores? And like I assume GPA, like if she stays to ACMA throughout high school, I assume the GPA stuff won't really be relevant because it'll be like compared to everybody else at the school. I don't know, but like how does ACMA compare to, I don't know, the more advanced stuff at say a regular high school or to the SUMA kids, or I don't know, what do we need to do to make sure that they're not, I guess, falling behind? I don't know. I don't know if I'm even asking this well
No,
or if it sounds rude and terrible, but
we're not SUMA. I mean, you just, you know, I mean, you look at SUMA, all those kids are TAG. So, you know, that's just a reality. We're an art school. And so you kind of make that choice, but that doesn't mean we don't have offerings for TAG students. So
yeah, she didn't want to do SUMA because there's so much homework and she hates homework. So that's why she likes ACMA and supervised study, so she can whip it all out before she even goes home.
So if she has that extra time, you know, I mean, she should be taking advantage then of any extensions that she can get from teachers. She could, you know, when she gets into high school, take some of the advanced classes, you know, the AP classes, push herself that way. You know, I hate to say things outside of school because I know sometimes those things are expensive, but any sort of preparatory class outside of school would be a good thing. You know, I think she's just going to have to seek it if that's what she wants. If she's feeling like she wants to be at that same level as, you know, the kids at SUMA, she's just going to have to push for that, or just advocate for herself and ask teachers, you know, could I do extra, or could you give me more, or, you know, could I try a different project or something like that. And I mean, I'm always happy to give that to students. I just don't hear that they want it. So I'm not off, you know, if they come to me and ask, of course I'll give it. I've got oodles of things I could have them do. And I know every teacher could do the same. So
I can't imagine Isabel wanting that. I think it's more that her dad wants her to want it.
yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. Well, yeah, maybe we'll need to think about if we need to put her in after school things or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's, you know, for some students, it's just their nature to not want to do more. But if you want her to do more, you know, that's something you can pursue. And yeah. So I hope I answered that question. I'm not sure I did.
Thanks. No, this is great. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. I wish that students get plugged into another elective. I can ask, you know, I can say, hey, if there's a student who does not want to do supervised study, they don't need it. Is there an option that maybe they could take French? or could they plug into an elective, a ceramics class or something? I'll ask Mrs. Ferguson and see if that's an option. And now, how do I get you guys all back then, and we answer and give you the answers to your questions? I suppose I could, I have all your emails because you got an email blast about this meeting. So I can just type up all my responses that I find out and send that out to you. Does that make sense? Okay.
If
You
you'd
could
like to
also
have a
put
meeting
post
like
on
this, like
Parent Square.
a couple times a year would be cool too, if you
Okay.
want to,
Yeah.
if it's not too much of a hassle. I'd
Yeah.
love to call in a couple times a year and
Okay, yeah, just check in. So maybe again around the holidays or something.
And it may be a little time consuming, but you could create a tag group in Parent Square and then just do posts just to those folks in Parent Square. You
That's
could
a
also
good-
have discourse back and forth, two-way conversations with the group as well. You could probably get a, Synergy download and have it do a auto updated group if you wanted to try.
Mhm. Yeah, so Parent Square is new to me. Is that something that you guys are familiar with? Is that a nice way for you to communicate? Parent Square?
It's new for everyone this year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good way to communicate.
Okay.
It's pretty efficient.
Okay. So I could
I
create,
like it so far.
I could create a group within Parent Square.
Yeah, Lynn, you could just send me an email at melissa@beaverton.k12. Whatever.
Okay,
I can send you a couple of tips on how to create that group.
that would be awesome. I'd
Okay.
appreciate it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Susie, is your hand up? Is that a new hand or?
No, sorry about that. I'm
Okay.
lowering it.
Okay. Okay, regarding Parent Square. Okay. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Extra assignments or projects to do, but it can't be assigned ahead of time or something. Okay. So someone's saying that if you assign our student something to do during supervised study, it's not going to happen during supervised study. She'll do it the night that it's assigned, and then she won't have anything to do in supervised study again. Bless her heart. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So OBOB for sure. If your student is into reading, we're going to start that in October. So I'm just trying to find a place to meet right now. I think we're going to meet in my room during first lunch on Thursdays, but I'll know more next week. Let's see, anything else? Is there somebody, I can't read all these chats, but is there something in the chat that I didn't address? I'm just scanning them and it's looking like they're kind of talking about if we could get a group together during supervised study. Okay. All right. Let me look through my notes and see if there's anything else let's see. I think that's okay. If you run into an issue with a teacher where you're feeling like your student's not challenged, if it's me, these are things that we need to know, and then we can figure it out. It's not a hard fix. So we just need to know, if that's an issue. So just reach out. And okay. Yes, that would be great if we could do a foreign language during supervised study. Wouldn't that be cool? So I can ask Mrs. Ferguson, if we were to be able to do something like that, could we do a foreign language? I don't know, maybe it could be something, if we don't have a staff member, maybe it could be student directed. Maybe they could all get on that website and that you were talking about, or somebody was talking about earlier, where they could do a self-directed language unit or something.
I'd love to figure out the independent study thing, because I'm planning to opt my daughter out of French and Spanish so she can do Chinese, because she's Chinese and she's got family in China. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but my plan is to do something like that.
Mhm.
So that would be great if there was some self-directed thing that the district recommended.
Mhm.
So to opt out of French and Spanish, she would have to take the AP test for Chinese at some point. So I don't know. It just seems like it would simplify high school a little bit if she could get started on that now.
Yeah, yeah. So she does need to do a foreign language for high school graduation. So you're saying if she could just do the test, she could, yeah, I hear what you're saying. But yeah, I can find out if the district has some sort of a language program that they already own or have a subscription to. That would be great. Okay. Yeah, I hope Isabel wants to do OBOB again. We did really well when we didn't do it last year, but when we've done it, we've done very, not very well, but pretty well for a teacher running it. You know, usually it's a parent running it, but I do my best. Okay.
I have two other questions
Sure.
slash ideas. One is whether anyone else would be interested in, like, I mean, pending COVID, like doing a get together, like a field trip or something like that with kids, or are field trips a thing with COVID?
I haven't heard, I mean, we got trained for CPR and things like that, like we would if they said, you have to do this if you're going to take your students on a field trip. So the words have come out of their mouths that field trips are a thing. I just don't know.
Okay,
what they're
but
looking
I mean, just thinking about it, like as a extracurricular, and maybe even asking the PTO, which I'm a part of, would that be something we could get some support with? So just one idea. And then another question I had was whether or how the National Honor Society works at ACMA, because I just imagine a lot of these kids might be interested in that. So I just don't know at what age that starts, or.
That's high school.
That's high school.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In fact, I have a high school HANA, and I have a few students applying for that. And so it's an application, and they have to write some short essay answers and talk about why they should be in NHS. And then they have to have a certain GPA, and then they get approved. And it's Mrs. Deal, who's our health teacher, I think this year, and science is running that program. So if you wanted to find out more, you could email Beth Deal, DEAL, and she could give you information about it. My students in my honor are sophomores, and so it might be a junior senior thing, because she just, yeah, because my student that I was helping with her application, she, yeah, because she was just applying and she's a sophomore, so maybe that it doesn't start until she's a junior. But,
okay, thank you for answering that. I know it's not exactly related, but
yeah, no, it is. I think a lot of tag students head in that direction. So, okay, great. Okay, well, I've got a nice long list of questions to find the answers to, and then I will shoot out an email to everyone with the answers that I find. And then I will contact Melissa, and we'll figure out how to do a parent square so that we can communicate as a group. So, Omar?
Hi, my name is Omar Vargas, and my son is in 7th grade. I do have a question. So he was tagged when he was in kindergarten. I think that was the first time, and then something else happened in the elementary. So we want to. For me, it's super important to understand when is the limit. Where is the limit? So children has to be children also. For me, it's like he has to be a child also. Besides, do the piano, do the violin, do the Spanish, and do everything. Like, and then sometimes like we should force a little more. It's like, should we? Is there more? Can just we slow down, or when is the time when you say, okay, enough is enough, it's too much. It's just study, and of course he does other things, he does games, but I really would like to understand if there is a balance. When you find the balance, how you find that balance so he can be a child and also he can do these interesting things that he does.
I think that sounds like a good question for one of the parents of a tag student. When do you feel like that is like the balance is tipping one way or the other? Is it all just dependent on the kid themselves? You know, what they can tolerate. Some want more challenge, some don't. Some want to play more, and others want more intellectual challenge. And how, you know, it sounds like Omar's asking where do you draw the line? Like, where do you say, I think I'm pushing too much, or I'm not pushing enough? Does anybody want to weigh in on that? I mean, as an educator, you know, I've seen the gamut in the tag students. I've seen those that don't want to do anything. You know, I mean, I'm not anything like they don't even want to pick up a pencil. You know, they're in their head a lot, and the actual work seems mundane and boring to them. They have an idea and they want to go off on that idea, and so getting them to just do the regular day-to-day work is hard. And then there are others that are just eager and want more of it. So I think it's all dependent on your child, and I guess you just have to listen to them and, you know, decide if they're feeling, you want them to be excited about learning. I mean, that's probably the basic, the whole idea. You know, you want them to be excited to learn and not kill their curiosity. So I think you just have to know your child, and if you can make learning fun and make it something enjoyable, then, you know, that's awesome. That's just going to make them a great all-around person and student. That's a big question, Omar. I'm not quite sure if I can answer it.
No, you answered it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to. I just want to address it because I was hearing all the conversations, like there must be a limit. There must be a moment that you say, okay, now be a child. Now play something else, do something, find a friend or do something else. I think for them in this process of learning and growing, it is important also the social part of their life. So if we can create a genius, but the genius can be by himself the whole life. So maybe that is the limit. That is the limits that we should think about it. Can he or she be smart enough to learn about the whole environment there? And I think ACMA is an incredible, great place for that. I mean, learning about art that will open all your channels, all your learning is there because it's through art. You're learning through art, and I think I'm so excited about the whole part of the whole learning process, and this is part of that. Like for me, it's like, wow, it is what I always wanted in my life. When I was a child, I will be like so excited about the school. And I think Mr. Bill is that. He's so excited every day. He's like, yeah, let's. It is great. How was your day? Wonderful. I love it. It's like, oh my God, that's great. So I think it's we have to look for those moments and find the time to be happy with them, laugh with them, play with them. They're still children, and they will be children for long. The 6th, 7th, 8th grades, they are still children. So I think there should be limits. There should be some moments that you can hug your child and say, I love you so much, and let's do this, and it works.
That's a good message to hear. Yeah, I like that. That's important. Thank you, Omar. That's great. Yeah, I think we're for sure. Yeah, ACMA is a special place, and you know, there is that side of their brains that, you know, is so magical, and you know, for the art to come through, sometimes that is the key for some of these kids. And you know, they can really express themselves that way in a different way, where maybe they weren't as successful in a traditional setting. They can really show what they know in a different format, and that is so powerful if they feel success, and it's just wonderful. So that is something to keep in mind for sure. Awesome. Great. Okay. Let's see. I think Amber had as a direct message to me, but I can't. It's not opening for some reason. So I hope. Okay. Oh well. Okay. So are there any other thoughts that you guys want to share, or any other questions that you might have for me that I can't answer, but that I can go find the answer to? Okay. All right, well, I guess then I'll just sign off then, and I will reach out to you probably the beginning of next week with an email with all the answers to the questions. And I'm hopeful that maybe we can get something set up during supervised study for those who want it, because I'm hearing that might be the probably the biggest one that you guys were asking for. And then do please check your teachers' Canvas pages for their tag plans. And if you can't find them for some reason, you can reach out to them or reach out to me. And then if you feel like you do want more challenge from my class for your student, please email me, and I will be happy to have a discussion. And it could be me meeting with your student and saying, so here's some things I could offer you. What are you interested in? So giving them some choice. I don't want to just say, here's my tag plan, do this. It needs to be something they're passionate about. So we'll have a discussion, and I'll say, what would you like would you like to read another book, or would you like to do a research project on something that you're interested in? And I can help, I can give you feedback on that. So but I need to know. So I think that's what I'm saying, if either from you or from your student. Okay. Oh, more messages. Let's see here. Okay. Great. Thanks, Kristen. And yay, I'm glad to hear that some kids are really happy with the culture of ACMA. It is a very special place, for sure. Yeah, very welcoming there, of all types of people. It's great. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. And we started off with 25 and we're down to 11. But I'm glad you stuck with it. And please know that, all the teachers are open to communication. So just reach out in an email and they'll get back to you. Okay. All right.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you, and we'll talk again, and it would be great if we could meet again. So I'll in our parent square, when I learn how to do that, we can maybe figure out if that's something we want to do. And then that whole idea of a field trip is great. If we could get a group of kids going to a show, wouldn't that be great if they went to a play or to a music or to something downtown or an art show or something, it would be awesome. So let me know if I can help with that. But I will find out. One of the questions is, are we allowed to do field trips right now? Yeah, it might be something we can't do as a school, but you could do it as a parent group. I don't know. I'll find out. Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll chat later. Okay. All right, bye.